Hello and welcome! In this lecture we're going to create and set up our UI canvas so we can then add all kinds of UI elements, like for example some buttons to choose which action to take. Okay, so let's set up our UI. Now let's go to our hierarchy and right click. Let's create a new UI and create a brand new canvas right here. Then in the inspector let's set it up. For the render mode, let's leave it as screen space overlay. We want the UI to occupy the entire window. Then the other settings aren't important for now, so just leave them on default. Next important thing is over here on the canvas scaler. For this, the setup that I like is to change the scale mode and change to scale with screen size. Then it asks you for a reference resolution, and here I like to use 720p, so 1280 by 720. Next up, for the match mode, I like to leave it match width or height and match it completely with the height. Finally, for the reference pixels, leave it on 100. So basically with this setup, what this means is that UI elements will only get scaled if the vertical size of the window changes. So if the horizontal size changes, then no object gets resized, only if the vertical size changes. We can see what I mean if we add an image. So inside the canvas, let's create a new UI object. Let's make it a simple image. And now with this one, if I resize the window vertically, you can see the image does indeed get scaled. So the smaller the vertical size of our screen, the smaller the image. However, if I resize the horizontal size, for example by using a different aspect ratio, so instead of 16 by 9, let's put it maybe 5 by 4. If I put that, note how the image did not change scale. Now I like this setup because this means that we can pretty much ignore the scale and only worry about the positioning on the corners, since that's the only thing that won't change based on the aspect ratio. So if I were to anchor this image over there on the top left corner and put it closer to there, so if this image is on that position and I scale on the vertical, you can see it stays in the exact same position, just gets scaled. I only need to worry about that positioning based on the different aspect ratios. Okay, so that's pretty much it. These are the basic settings for the UI. Now, of course, these settings depend on the target platform that you want. Here, I'm making the game primarily for desktop, so this is how I usually set up the UI. But in the end, if you want to make a mobile build, maybe something on a vertical UI, then you can easily change these settings to get any aspect ratio you want working. Alright, so that's it. Here we have our really basic UI setup. Before we end the lecture, let's just get rid of our default image. That's it. Now in the next lecture, let's build some buttons.